Okay, saying I'm live here. I'm live here. And that's it. YouTube and Instagram. Islam, 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 Ism. We are here, we are here, we are here for 30 minutes more or less. I am Sister Tahita S. Nigel of CalifaMedia.com and Works, mrcicharities.org and com, riseofthemoorish.org and com, and certifiedmoorish.org and com. And just as an FYI, if you try to go to Mercy Charities, it's still in build out, so please be patient. Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, so I am here for my weekly, strongly, however you want to put it, presentation on all things Moorish. Trying to share with y'all what I got going on. So, maybe you can be like, hey, I'm doing something similar. Can I get in? Get in on that? Yes, 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 you can, right? Because I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to close ranks. I'm trying to I want my stuff back, to put it briefly. I want my stuff back, and I'm no fool. I've been around long enough to know some things you just simply cannot do by yourself. All right. Trying to build a nation by yourself is really like trying to have a child by yourself. Good luck, right? You're going to have to eventually involve another person. So anyway, so this week, if you're wherever you are, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Comment, because I do read the comments. And if I have a chance, I do reply, right? So, as far as the news, and then I'm going to take care of some announcements. What I'm covering today, the topics, the headlines are the absolute unmitigated nerve. And yes, I have my notes because why? I respect your time. So the absolute unmitigated nerve. Louisiana Purchase Part 2. What is this? Return of the Privateers. And They Never Leer. Not learn, leer. So y'all already know what I'm going to be talking about with that one. All right. Well, before I get into that, real quick, and if I seem like I'm rushing, it's because I'm tired. I want to go lay down. I want to go have a snack, and I still got some other stuff to do. And it's the weekend, so if I rush through, absolve me. Anyway, so before I get into the news, weekly announcements. First, don't forget, Califa Media is a media company. It's all about books and media. I guess I should start saying that more because for whatever reason, people contact me asking if I can help them to nationalize. No. I'm a publishing company, right? Give me a break. That's like going to the National Enquirer and then asking, can I become a U.S. citizen? How are they going to help you with that? All right. I don't understand. If you have I'm not saying they can't. I'm just not aware of how they could. I'm a publishing company. I do not nationalize people. Find a temple. All right. And people ask me, how do I proclaim my nationality? The same way a Chinese or Asian adoptee proclaims their nationality when they figure out which Asian country they were adopted from. Do they have to fill out any paperwork to be what they are? No, they just say it. Proclamation. Usually it's a spoken thing. It's not written. You can write it down if you want to, but once upon a time we didn't have language, but we did have tribal affiliation. So how did you let people know who you were? You just said it. That's enough. No one gets to determine who you are. It's called self-determination. And I tell people, if I want to call myself a Martian green gorilla, that's my business and not your problem. So you can call yourself a Moor. Right. And I hope I just ruined some people making money off of packages, helping folks become Moors. All right. And I'm going to have to throw another one out there. If you have any issues with credit repair, because I'm getting sick of these credit repair people. Every time I fill something out, I got to be like, they ask me if I'm doing credit repair because I guess how I look. No. Right. So in order to throw a wrench in their operations, right, especially one particular person I won't mention because I know he'd love if I mentioned him. If you contact me at Califa, Califa, media.com or editor at califamedia.com and let me know, hey, how do I fix my credit? I'm going to offer you two options. I will give you the paperwork for free. I'll tell you how to do it right now. I'll tell you. First, you tell whoever says you owe them a debt, especially if it got sent to collections. Tell them to produce the contract, okay? Especially if it got sent to collections. It's the easiest. Tell them to produce the contract. It's called a verification of debt. Okay, it's real easy. And then you give them a second chance. Like, I didn't hear back from them, because you won't, because they don't have a contract. Okay, not with you. You won't hear back from them. So you give them a second chance to do it. And then when you don't hear back from them again, you go onto your credit report and hit click dispute. That's what they charging y'all for. 2 pieces of paper and to tell you to click that button. And if you want it, please email, because I have gotten rid of, every time I go into debt, I do this. I've stopped doing it because I don't need to do that anymore. But once upon a time, I was in a situation that required that kind of activity. It wasn't like cheating, folks. It was like, okay, one of them was, I had a baby, okay? And the father panicked and called the ambulance, and they sent me the bill. I'm not paying for that. I wanted to stay home. I was fine. This was number 2 at home. But since you insisted, they sent me the bill. And I got out of it. I'm like, I waited till they sent it to the collection agency. And then I asked the collection agency to produce my contract with them. Hello, nothing. Here's your second chance. Hello, nothing again. Dispute. And if you want the paperwork, if you don't feel like writing it up, I'll give it to you. All right. Because somebody gave it to me. It's not like, oh, I'm just doing this to be petty. No, somebody gave it to me and I'm paying it forward. So if you want it, contact califamedia@gmail.com. And I bring that up for the next reason, because it works. Do I want to skip past this? Yeah, I'm gonna stay on this same thing. I said email me if you want it, because yesterday we had a part 2 of 2025 in review. Still didn't finish the year. And we got on the topic of trademarking. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of people stealing stuff from us. And it came up, tenderism. That Elder's term, tenderism. How he been using that since probably before I was born. Okay, and I've been around for a minute. So he was doing tenderism and got on TikTok and started saying, you know, the guy, he was pulling the bone out the barbecue or whatever it was. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't know. And he would just get up and walk away saying tenderism. Somebody else trademarked that. So after 40, 50 years of you using it, you can't use it no more, because he can, if he gets in touch with me. All right, I'll help you do it. Oh, this is easy to undo, right? And I'll do it for free, just for the principle. I would do it for free, right? So we discussed that, how our people don't put their brand on our own stuff. All right. I guess it's because you're branded, so you don't think to brand something else. I mean, I'm just guessing, because we always lose out because somebody brands something we came out with, and then we can't sell it no more unless we buy the license from them. So how about you, before you open your big mouth, all right, and I'm saying that for real, because you're opening your mouth and gold is falling out for anyone to grab. Before you open your big mouth, if you have a great idea, don't say nothing. At least fill out the application to do a state trademark. At least protect yourself in your state. Because if I'm not mistaken, because I have done this, do I want to? Nope, I'm not getting on this. Anyway, so when you're talking about it, I'm not getting on it. And I told people, like, this is messed up that people brand our stuff and then we got to rent it back from them. So to preempt that, if you ask me, if you email me, I will put on a course on how to do trademarking. It's not hard. You know how they make those forms look. It's like 25 pages. But if you actually read it, you only got to actually write in 5 places. All right. So I'll just tell y'all I'll give you the shortcut. Just know that each brand or patent, because it's the same office, each brand or patent, depending on which category, they each require a separate registration. All right. I wonder if I can record this in the county instead, because I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, and you got to have 250 for whatever you're trying to do. For instance, I have Rise of the Moors. I got it, right? And right now I have it trademarked as a educational thing. So nobody can use this on anything educational, right? And I should say, if they do it, you got to do one trademark for the word and one trademark if you got like an actual image for it. It's crazy. Let me stay focused. Anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into it because you see I'm going into it. I told Moors, I said, email me if you're interested in having me break this down for you. And I'll do it for free. just to undo them. That'll be my payment, to watch them be like, dang, they figured that out, right? That'll be my payment. My reward does not come from y'all. So someone took that initiative and he emailed me. So thanks to brother Covington L. All right. I won't say his whole name until he gives me permission. So, Covington L could be a whole bunch of folks. So brother Covington L emailed me and was like, yeah, I saw your live. You said contact you if we want that class. I'm contacting you. So that class is forthcoming. It will be very short because once you see what it is, you're going to be like, that's it. You know how that is with Moors, how we just sit there fearing it. And then we actually get into it and feel silly for a couple of weeks, if not years, beating ourselves up because it's like, that's what I was avoiding. This is one of those. All right. If we start trademarking, think about it. As soon as we come out with one of the biggest ones. Oh, what's his name? Lil Wayne didn't trademark bling bling. He came up with that. Can you imagine if he had trademarked that? And he could have. Bling by itself is one thing. Once I combine it with a second bling and apply it to something that I'm selling, it's something different. But it's up for grabs because he never trademarked it, and then so many people got a hold of it. Now it's free for grabs. All right. But somebody who did trademark something, if you aren't aware of it, what is and I'm probably gonna use him as the example of how to abuse this. Tariq Nasheed trademarked that Foundational Black Americans, and he trademarked it under education and merchandise. Anyway, so that'll be coming soon because it's like, that's easy. I have so many, I trademark everything. All right. Everything. Because I snatched Rise of the Moors. So it's like, you know what? Let me snatch all my stuff because I just did something that some people might consider messed up. And they might try to come take my stuff. So Califa Media is trademarked. Rise of the Moors trademarked. What else? I think I put in the application for certified Moorish and Mercy. Because Mercy already has a charity. That's why I haven't been able to finish that one. Somebody else already got it, but they're doing something different with it. So I can still trademark it. Anyway, books. So I have Turban book. You're a Moor. Wrap your head. Even if it's something simple, right? I'm trying to think of what anime. I haven't watched an anime in too long. There's an anime. I know there's some anime out there where the protagonist is trying to be cool, but people keep messing with them. And as soon as they take that, whatever it is, their talisman is on, it's like they become their true form and start wrecking shop. You know how that is, right? So, and then, dreadlocks, because I have dreads, the dreaded locks. Where did that name come from? It's not because, ew, look at that. People, where did it come from? I have a degree in history. I actually looked it up and found it in a few places. It came from when the Europeans went into North Africa, supposedly, and they would be battling with the Moors, right? And they knew they were Moors because they were turbaned up. And then they knew they were about to die when those turbans came off and they saw those locks flowing. So those were the what? The dreaded locks. That's where it comes from. So this contains your crazy, right? Once you take it off, you crack the cap on your crazy. I know if that's what happens to me. That's why have you ever seen my hair? So we have a book on that. Okay. Prophet. It has images of Moors in turban, which is funny because this one was painted by a French guy. And they were like, oh, he was just trying to, the people were like, that's not what Moors actually looked like. He just found some black dude on the streets of France and was like, put on this costume, right? Okay, fine. Why did he pick all the people in France? How easy was it to find somebody that looked like this in France in, what was this? 1868. This was painted in 1868 when we had just come out of slavery in the United States. This was painted in 1868. I'm just saying. So anyway, I might have to do a breakdown of this. If you order this, I have them in shop right now. If you use I think it's the coupon code is Rainbow. So you got to use the coupon code to get it. If you order it it comes with a sticker sheet that explains all of the colors of the turban. All right. Free with code. I think it's rainbow. It's right there. If you go to califamedia.works, it's right there. If you look at the top, you'll see a banner, like a little scrolly thing, and it'll say what the code is. I think it's rainbow. And you get that free. Exclusively from Califa Media, the torch. All right. And isonomy. If you are a Moor, all right, please go to califamedia.works. Maybe next week. I'm about to put up applications where you can get this wholesale, because it's not on Amazon, it's not on Barnes and Nobles, it's not on Books A Million. You can only get it to me through me. But if you are a Moorish business owner, especially if you're a Moorish business owner with a storefront, you need some merchandise. All right. This is all, you can get it right now, right? It's up there for anybody to grab. But if you are an actual Moor, of course, I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna give you extra because you belong to me. That kind of thing. I claim y'all. And of course, the hard copy Quran, right? So you can record your family stuff in a book that doesn't fall apart. Okay. Take your places. Don't forget, this is the book that accompanies the 508 C1A toolkit that I use to set up my business that I've been running for the past 10 years. I put out the paperwork first, and people were like asking me to break it down, and I got tired of answering the same questions over and over. Y'all got to do that right here, right now. Where's something I can throw? It's the cats fighting. Get out of here. Gone. Can y'all come get your cats? Okay, they gone. Anyway, they got to do that right here. Got the whole house, but they got to do that right here, right now. Anyway, so if you want to set up your business so that you can become a wholesaler, I'm trying to close ranks, all right? Because I took down my 2 best sellers. Like, oh, y'all doing that good? Not no more. Reserved exclusively for Moors. Oops. And that's why today's presentation is Moors Take Heed, all right? These cheating, lying, thieving, cowardly, opportunist, scumbag foreigners keep telling us how bad we doing. And it's like, well, it's only because you're comparing your best to our worst. That's one. And 2, look how much better we're doing alone compared to your collective. So what if we came together? Okay, so if you're a Moor and you have a business and you need something in your shop, I don't care if you're a mechanic, you're a Moorish mechanic, right? Don't you need some literature? So when people say, what does that mean? I'll cut you a good deal. Very good. You don't get what everybody else is getting. They're supplementing the deal that I give y'all. See how that works? Because I'm copying off of them. I'm copying off the foreigners. All right. Let me take a breath. I'm 17 minutes in because I'm getting amped. Islam, to all the Moors who have come in, all the Moors who will see this later. I'm going to look at these comments real quick. Islam, please stop calling me mother. All right. I have children. That's 1. I got enough people calling me mother. 2, would your mother be okay with you calling me mother? If my child calls somebody else mother, me and my child about to go somewhere dark and secluded and have a long chat with fists. All right. Because who for 2 got cut open, or for 3 had to like mess up the bedspread, or for the other 2. So no, don't call me mother. Reserve that for your mother because you only get 1. All right. But thank you anyway. I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment. All right. Let's see. Happy holiday to y'all. So yeah, please don't call me mother. I'm not saying don't do it for anybody else. Just don't do it to me because it's weird. Can I call you father? No, I call you brother. I'm your sister. I ain't your mother. Ooh. Anyway, am I done with my announcements? Oh no, I'm not. So I did the books. I got on my pen. Okay. I sell buttons this is how much I use it. All right. This is within reach. I actually sell the steel buttons that I print and press myself in-house, made with Moorish hands. It does make a difference. That energy, it does make a difference. Or if you want something a little fancier, I have the enamel pen. This comes in, what is that? Butterfly clip and safety pin clip. And that's about to be on wholesale too. So if you have a Moorish business, I have a bunch of them here. So if you need like 20 or 30 or 100 to put into your business, I can hook you up. I'm just saying. And you charge what you want. Right? We're supposed to be doing, Or should I sell them to somebody foreign for you to buy them from at a higher price? If they don't just like hide them to keep us from having this stuff. All right. What else do I have? Oh, other announcements. Pens and medallions. Moorish Meetup DC. Let me not forget that, because I actually printed out the poster. Can y'all see it? Yeah, you see that? You see it? You see it? All right, Moorish Meetup DC. I might have to make this a t-shirt. Yeah, I might have to make this a t-shirt just because it's so bright. So Moors will be gathering once again for the first Moorish meetup this year. That's the working name. We just like put it together a couple of days ago and started like doing the planning. The itinerary is in development, so please be patient. We just started a couple of days ago. It is planned for the spring equinox this year. All right. And it will be taking place March 20th through the 21st of 2026. But caveat or disclaimer, I might actually be up there for a whole week, because that's when the cherry blossoms are blooming. And I know it's going to take a while to see everything. Like, I think the Smithsonian, they like, if you want to see, at least have a decent, not a great, not an amazing, a decent experience, you might want to plan for 3 days, 3 days visit. So I might be up there longer than that, but it is planned for the solstice. Moors will be meeting in DC on the solstice, which actually came up in a conversation. I might just mention it now, where we were like, since we're going to be up there, how about we go see if we can contact some of these representatives and congressmen and enforce the Constitution, since they seem to have forgotten what their job is. You know, because the president is over here bombing and invading countries without congressional approval, and they just felt the need to issue a bill, like pass legislation to remind the president that the power to declare war lies with Congress. Or maybe some people can just show up with turbans and fezzes, you know, and just happen to stop in and see what happens. I don't know if you ever been to one of these meetups, you know, especially that one in May in Arizona. That one was crazy. I'll keep saying that one, how we went to a restaurant, the music was banging, and then we look at the TV and it's like, why is the episode of Everybody Hates Chris when he was wearing that Moorish get up? Why is that on? Means nothing. Next show that comes on is the episode of the Jamie Foxx show where they dressed as Moors. Okay, whatever. Means nothing. Next episode. We're in Arizona. Why? What channel is this when we seeing all these black shows, somehow black, and it's 40,000 of us in the whole state? What's going on? Right? Next show come on. It was Martin. Like, it's all these bomb shows from the 90s, and it's all the versions that show the Moors, which I'm like, what? That's what happens at a meetup. So if you're not doing anything in the next couple of months, March 20th through the 21st, Moors will be meeting. You like the poster? I like it. I like it because it's bright. Moors will be meeting up in DC, and Allah willing, if the weather keeps up, because it's like 50 degrees outside right now, and I'm in like northern Indiana. It's 50 degrees outside in January. So yeah, this might be, you know, apparel appropriate right there. It might just be that hot in the spring. I hope so. Allah willing. And to make things easier, because I think Cujo, he's going to be there to make things easier. We've done this before. We're raising money for his ticket, because Moors, at least the leadership, the people we consider leadership, should not have to pay to spread this message to the hedges and highways. They shouldn't have to pay for that. All right. So Mercy Charities, a 501, that is the only 501c3, because it can get grants. It is not a religious organization. It is used for fundraising only. It's not even a charity. It's a beneficial society. Do you know the difference between a charity and a beneficial society? A charity is for everyone. Beneficial society only benefits a specified group. Yeah. So anyway, Mercy Charities is raising money. I think I already started the fundraiser. There's no website because I'm still building out Mercy Charities' new website. All right. But you can donate on Instagram. You can donate on PayPal. There's a PayPal button somewhere. I know there's a PayPal button on YouTube. I'll make it available. And you can donate. That's one way you can assist. I think we're trying to just raise $700. Nothing, no big deal. Right? Pay for his food and housing too. That kind of thing. Food and lodging. So you can make a donation. or like a cash donation, whatever, or you can acquire one of these. This is the Ice Bingo card, okay, which is kind of ironic. This card is tracking the targets of the Trump administration's immigration program, okay, where they're kicking folks out. It's tracking them. And it's kind of ironic and kind of funny that this card tracking foreigners getting kicked out the country is being used to bring a foreigner into the country. Does that make sense? Because it's for Cujo, he's in Canada. Isn't that funny? I find it hilarious. It's like, get like him, and maybe I could do a fundraiser for you, right? But y'all suck. For instance, it's so funny. Cujo is from an island. Y'all know where he's from. He's from an island. He's from the same, the neighboring island that Nicki Minaj is from. I had hesitated putting the Moors, the island Moors, on this thing because I'm like, I know too many island Moors. I don't want to offend them. And then it occurred to me, I don't know no island Moors here. They're all in Canada. All the ones I know are in Canada. That's how much they separate themselves down here. And that's not on purpose. That is definitely not on purpose. Not on me purpose. That's on them purpose. I'll tell people all the time. I grew up in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago. All right. 18 years. I left as soon as I could get out. Went to college. Met some people from the north side. Like, there's a north side. I knew there was a south, because Chicago is ridiculously huge. And there's so much to do everywhere. You can miss other parts of the city. So I knew about the south side. I knew about the west side. I knew about downtown. All right. North side, I'd heard about it. I'd never been up there. So we go up there. I can't believe it. It takes from the south side to the north side on the highway took 2 hours just to get to the north side. That's how big this place is. And it was nighttime, no traffic. We were speeding and it still took 2 hours. But it was from the south side to the north side of the same city. Okay, cool. Then next thing I know, my mother moves to the north side, to the southern part of the north side of Chicago, where it's like this is how Chicago works. You have the south side, basically, right? And then it gradients into downtown. Then you go through downtown and it gradients into the north side and then turns into the full north side. My mother moved to Sheridan Road. If y'all know, if you're from Chicago, she moved to Sheridan Road, the Gold Coast. And she was like a block off of right there. And then if you walk a block from her spot, there go the Caribbeans. There go the Africans. I'm like, I knew they were here. I just never knew where they were. And then it occurred to me, like, I've never seen them. They didn't go to school with me. I didn't go to school with a single African or a single Caribbean. All right. Even though how many of us are on the south side. And then they were all together. So you had the Haitians, the Dominicans, the Jamaicans, the Trinidadians, all the Africans, all up north together, as far away from us as they could get. It's like, okay, that's fine. Whatever, do you. Oh, you in trouble? Now you trying to do me? No. So I'll bring all that up to say the Caribbeans and the Africans that I am associated with, and those who know what's going on. You know how your people are acting here. If you are in Canada, don't say nothing because you don't have no idea. They're behaving extremely badly. I'm going to post the videos. I will post the videos for you because I'm just like, let me just bag up. Let me make it their fault. They sure did. First, Nicki Minaj going to what's that show? Turning Point USA, talking about Black women. She didn't say nothing about training women. She didn't say nothing about her women. She said Black women. So the ones here, not the ones where she come from. We need to be more accommodating and welcoming to Becky. You broke, aren't you? Okay. Sell out. Bad enough you abandoned your people. Now you're trying to get us to abandon our people too. Of course. So that's what we dealing with down here. And now there's some Jamaican chick making the rounds because she got some hideous pink Lamborghini. To look at us. We came from wiping our butts in the bushes with leaves to owning hideous pink Lamborghinis. And I'm just sitting there like, you're comparing. Stop complaining about the white folks. Your experience with them is not our experience with them. The fact that you are wiping your butt in your homeland says you have a problem with the same people. We own more land than you. They own more land than you in your land, and you're the majority. All right, so Jamaica's on the list. All right, and then it's some Haitian chick come out. We raise our children better than black women. Why are you focusing on us? You got the whole, everybody is here. Everybody's here, but you focusing on us for some reason. So you going on the list. Have you seen Haiti? You talking about you raise your children better. Have you seen Haiti? All right, we're not talking about comparing your best to our worst. Let's compare your worst to our worst and your best to our best, and then see what it looked like. And I'll just say what it looked like because a Caribbean dude said it. He said the so-called black people, he's like, they beat our brains out. I think that was a quote. He like, we don't even make it onto the scoreboard. This is not to diminish people. It's to check folks, especially the people. It's like, you know, while we were fighting for civil rights for us, at the same time, we fought for y'all to come over here because you were classed as undesirables. They wouldn't even let you in the country because you look too much like me. We fought for that too, and look what we're getting for it. So they're on the list. This has nothing to do with anybody who ain't acting up. But my thing is they left because their people act a certain way. And now you over here doing the same thing. So you on the list. So if you want to, donate on Mercy Charities or wherever I'm gonna put the link. On Instagram, it's already linked. And YouTube is already linked. Or I will be putting it somewhere. You can go on and get this is actually the card. I'm gonna laminate it so it can be reusable and kept as a souvenir. All right, because who knows how long this is gonna go on. Hopefully it'll be brief. All right, so this will serve as a souvenir. It'll be laminated and it'll come with stickers. So every time somebody get caught up, you can just put the sticker on there. You'll be all good. All right, and that's it. All right, I think that's it. Yep. I had something about the trust, but I'll cover that later. Good, 30 minutes in. I'm gonna run through the news real quick. All right, I won't keep you too long. Allah, please let me just run through this and not interrupt myself with commentary. All right, so weekly news. Thank you all for being here once again. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, I'm a Gemini, so I like talking, if you can't tell. So going back through the reports I'm covering. So the absolute unmitigated nerve, Louisiana Purchase Part 2, Return of the Privateers, and They Never Lear. Not learn, lear. All right, so first one, the absolute unmitigated nerve. Moors take heed, okay? Indian truck drivers sue California over CDL routing. You know, what is that? Commercial driver's license ruling. This came about, I think, because of that Hindu dude who couldn't read English. So he didn't know he wasn't supposed to turn in that authorized personnel only turn thing on most highways. It ended up killing like 4 people, something like that guy. So the transportation secretary, I think his last name is Duffy, he issued a ruling saying if you can't prove he issued a ruling saying that we will no longer be accepting non-domicile CDLs, if I'm remembering this correctly. And then he specifically targeted California because these mugs are coming in through California, getting CDLs as illegals who cannot even read the signs on the street. And then since you got one in California, you can get a non-domicile one in all the other states. That's why he's specifically targeting California. Okay. So anyway, a lawsuit filed by Indian and other immigrant truck drivers is drawing attention to how licensing decisions can upend entire livelihoods overnight. The drivers allege that the California Department of Motor Vehicles moved to revoke thousands of commercial driver's licenses with little warning and without meaningful due process. Remember, most of these people are here illegally, or they're on like work visas or something. They really don't have the rights they think they do. They just trying some stuff. For many, these licenses represent years of lawful work and what is that? Oops. The sole, I can't read what that says. Oh, the sole means of supporting their families, as well as critical role in moving goods through California's ports, highways, and distribution centers. According to the complaint, the license revocations are not tied to unsafe driving violations on the road, but to retroactive reviews of immigration-related documentation. Drivers argue that a state licensing agency is being used to enforce federal immigration standards. You are going interstate. It's now officially federal. You see how they trying stuff. It's like, are you really that dumb? I can understand how you would be because you're not from here, but you actually hired an attorney to do this for you. Me personally, I'm gonna say they just trying some stuff because I'm like I've said it before. I'm suing some people right now, okay? And I guess they took me seriously because they sent it to an attorney. And the attorneys, I hope he's listening. The attorney's response was to leave out a bunch of stuff that I sent his client, and I know why you left it out. Left that part out, and the part he left out would disprove the lies he put in the letter to me. Isn't that something? I put in an affidavit. You left that out and then told a whole bunch of lies on me. What does that tell me? I win. So anyway, they just trying some stuff because people are just trying some stuff, hoping you don't figure it out, right? So anyway, like I said, they said the state agency is being used to enforce federal standards, effectively punishing workers without hearings, clear explanations, or adequate time to resolve alleged paperwork. You don't have the rights of a citizen because you ain't from here. Advocacy organizations, including the Sikh Coalition, say many drivers only discovered their licenses were at risk after years of uninterrupted employment because you were in California. That's why it was uninterrupted. While enforcement has been temporarily paused as the case proceeds, the broader implications remain. When licenses are pulled abruptly, income disappears, families are destabilized, and supply chains are disrupted. The cause underscores how administrative actions, when exercised without transparency or process, can reverberate far beyond individuals directly affected. Okay, I bring that up to say, first of all, the nerve. You acting like you have rights that you don't, but that's fine. You about to find out, which is great. What a learning opportunity for you. Because if I can see, I'm not even an attorney. I was trained as a paralegal, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. It's like a nurse saying, what kind of doctor would do something like that? Maybe I should become a doctor. Maybe that's not a doctor. I say Moors take heed, because who brought this case? The Sikh Coalition. So a bunch of Sikhs got together and decided to put their backing behind one attorney in case something happens. Right? See what I mean? Do you understand? It's like, what you good at? Okay, we're going to all get behind you to focus on that. All right? My thing is, I like books, so more, and I won't mess with your books like every other publisher will, which is why I opened up a Moorish publishing company, because I had to go through that. All right. So who's our law person? I volunteer for that one because I love embarrassing these folks because they never see it coming because they always underestimate us. So I get a giggle out of it, And again, like I said, my reward don't come from y'all. I'll take the satisfaction of watching them wonder what happened. So more take heed. Next one, Louisiana Purchase Part 2. I'm doing good. Okay. Trump administration proposal to pay Greenland residents. Have you heard about this one? Reports indicate that the Trump administration has discussed a proposal to offer direct cash payments to residents of Greenland, with figures reportedly reaching as high as $100,000 per person, not household, per person, in exchange for supporting a vote to sever ties with Denmark. The discussions were not framed as humanitarian aid or economic development, but as strategic effort to reshape Greenland's political alignment in favor of the United States. Greenland, though geographically vast, has a small population and occupies a critical position in the Arctic, making it valuable for military positioning, shipping routes, and access to natural resources. According to officials familiar with the conversations, financial incentives were viewed as a way to influence public opinion and accelerate a break from Danish oversight. The proposal drew swift rejection from leaders in both Greenland and Denmark, who stated plainly that Greenland is not for sale and that the future cannot be bought, or its future cannot be bought. Even among Greenlanders who favor greater independence, there has been strong resistance to the idea of U.S. absorption. Critics argue that the proposal reflects a transactional view of self-determination, treating political consent as a commodity rather than a collective right. Again, treating political consent as a commodity rather than a collective right. Know when you're dealing with the devil. Okay, who would do that? He doesn't care. This ain't his stuff to sell or buy. He doesn't care. Foreigners don't have no loyalty. It's like they get it, even though they're foreigners too, because Greenland is not their original homeland. But they get it. It's like, I'm a Greenlander. I want to be a Greenlander. I don't want to be an American. United Statesians don't get that because they're not from here. They have no loyalty to anybody but themselves. So they don't get it. Why wouldn't you just take the money? I will take the money. Why did you come here? You came here to get paid. They're at home. They're not like you, proud immigrants. They're proud to be where they're from. That's why they stayed there. You could take a lesson from them, immigrants. Anyway, let's see. Is that it? Okay. While no formal policy was adopted, the episode highlights how economic pressure and financial inducements are increasingly being floated as tools of foreign policy, particularly when strategic territory and resources are at stake. Now, I think it's kind of funny. The same day they announced we're thinking of paying every person, or I guess every person of voting age in Greenland individually, $100,000 up to $100,000 to vote to secede from Greenland. Like they have that right. It's like they're part of Denmark. Denmark is a monarchy. They don't have that. This is what's in charge. We're going to DC and I'm going to go see some folks. I'm just going to see if I can go talk to some people because I just got to ask them, like, what is going on? What's going on? Right? And then, my fault. I was like, yeah, it's funny that they offered that. And then to follow it up, because I know they knew people were going to be up in arms. The announcement that followed right after this Greenland thing was, and by the way, we're extending Obamacare for the next 3 years. Because how can you justify giving these people $100K to leave their kingdom that they can't leave, and I can't get my child's teeth looked at? So you see what I mean? But that should also be an indication of how much resources in this country they just throwing around money like this. Okay, cool. They never leer. Moving on. I got one more after this, and I've been giving all my commentary, so that's gonna be it. So they never leer. So you know about the what is that? The Leering Center in Minneapolis. They fixed the sign now. It says learning. The irony. I'm supposed to come here to learn, and you can't even spell learn right. And they talk about this place is a real daycare, and I'm looking like, where's the playground? There's supposed to be outdoor play areas for the children. I ran a daycare while I was in college. All right, where's the playground? They didn't have one. It's inside. You need an outdoor playground. These are children, not like chickens. All right, you got to let them outside and get some fresh air. They didn't have it. And now, dude, he came on the news talking about we might have to shut down because we can't afford to keep the power on. I'm confused. I might be missing something. I admittedly might be missing something. So, okay, if I'm not mistaken, you got a capital grant to acquire property to open up a daycare. That's all that grant covers, is to get the property. And then you get other grants, supplemental grants to pay for food, supplies, and all this stuff. And then you get supplemental grants for the parents. Supplemental being the key word, which means there must be something principle that came first. So, okay, for instance, you said you can't keep the power on because you out of money because Trump shut down daycare. It was all 50 states, but he's now just like, nah, just these specific states. So he's saying we have to close because we don't have the money to keep the power on. You were getting supplemental grants, which means the parents, I ran a daycare. The parents have to pay a part of that. All right. Which means, okay, daycare is $500 a week. You have to pay $100, and the state will cover the other $400, but you can't keep the power on because of the grant alone. Was this a business? Doesn't sound like it, because these were supplements. Anyway, they never leer. Federal child care subsidies across the United States were abruptly paused following allegations of widespread fraud tied to child care assistance programs in Minnesota, with reporting that centered heavily on providers within the Somali immigrant community. What began as an investigation into specific programs quickly escalated into a nationwide action, temporarily freezing funds for all 50 states, regardless of whether similar issues had been identified elsewhere. The pause disrupted payments that working families rely on for childcare, after school programs, and early education services, creating immediate uncertainty for parents and providers alike. The administration justified the freeze as a necessary safeguard while audits and reviews were conducted, arguing the federal funds must be protected from misuse. However, state officials and advocates pushed back, noting that the alleged misconduct in Minnesota was neither proven to be systematic nationwide nor representative of most providers. Notice they said it hasn't been proven to be systematic nationwide. They didn't say it hasn't been proven to be systematic in Minnesota. All right, anyway, they argued that suspending funds across the entire country amounted to collective punishment, with children and low-income families bearing the consequences of alleged wrongdoing by a limited number of actors. Several states have since challenged the pause, asserting that the federal government exceeded its authority and ignored established oversight mechanisms already in place. The partial funding has begun to resume. Partial funding! Like I said, it's supplemental, which means the parents are supposed to be kicking in something, right? So while partial funding has begun to resume, the episode underscores how allegations tied to one community or one state can be used to justify sweeping federal action, leaving millions of families vulnerable while political and legal battles unfold. Again, Moors, take heed. So the guy who got the Leering Center, he seems to be, it was his thing. They said they couldn't pay their electric bill, so they had to close, right? And you could hear children running and playing in the background. And I'm like, look at that. They came together and decided to help their brother in Nationality to cover his fraud. They're acting as a cover for him, right? By bringing their children and getting their children involved in this. Well, they got to start somewhere, right? And there are actually Somali daycare, because people have been getting in touch with me. When I posted a video talking about how the Somalians are causing problems in Africa too, right? And I was like, yeah, so it's crazy that they causing all these problems in Africa, and now they bringing that stuff to Minnesota. That's what I said. And I'm like, yeah, I heard there's something going on in Ohio. More started telling me, you need to check California. You need to check Portland. What else did they tell me? You need to check Maine. All these places I would have never thought of. And I'm just like, well, okay, in their defense, there are some of these people actually doing right. What they'll do is they will be like, I want to leave my child with this woman. We are all going to collectively agree that we're going to support her business. And then she does actually qualify for those grants. Too bad for them. There's more criminals than honest people among them. Yeah, unfortunate, whatever. Okay, so that's that for that. So Moors, take heed. Look what these people are able to do, what they've been able to get away with for so long because they were unified. But I think it's like about to they're about to turn on each other. I really do. Because they don't have one collective group. Well, they don't have a single group that they can collectively hate anymore, because that single group doesn't care anymore. By that single group, I mean us. I think that's why all this stuff is going on. I actually posted on there. We're seeing what happens in a piranha colony, right? When there's no more black sheep to eat and one of them starts bleeding. We're about to see. All right. That's why they're turning on each other. I love it. I love it. Return of the privateers. And I might wrap it up with this one. I will wrap it up with this one. Return of the privateers. If you don't know what privateers are. So we discussed this yesterday in the live. Privateers are what the Europeans were calling their pirates. They were calling our people. Okay. So you had the Europeans coming from Europe, pale-faced and like our people, coming from Europe, stealing from our lands, robbing our people on the seas. So our people, the actual authority of those seas, came out and were checking them left, right, center, and always in between. They call them the pirates, right? And those who were being given charters by the magistrate, what was the charters were given by the magistrate who had been appointed by the monarch, right? So they were getting charters to go out and be professional thieves, and they called them privateers because, well, it's not really thievery if they actually have a contract and they're doing this on behalf of like somebody that's actually hired them. So it's a hired pirate, so that makes it better. All right. So anyway, return of the privateers. Again, it was specifically these Europeans who were going out stealing stuff from the indigenous people of the Americas. Okay. Recent developments involving Venezuela have raised serious questions about the reach of the U.S. power beyond its borders. Reports indicate that U.S. authorities carried out an operation that resulted in the seizure of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his transfer to the United States to face criminal charges, a move Venezuelan officials and international observers have described as a violation of sovereignty. The administration has defended the action by invoking extraterritorial jurisdiction. So if you're wondering, why is Maduro on trial for violating U.S. gun laws while he was in Venezuela? Because they think you come from Europe, but you think you have the authority to tell somebody in Venezuela what to do because you no longer want to be a king. You want to be the emperor of the Americas. Dump. His real name is Dump. You know, like what you take in your pants when you're like, before you get potty trained. His real name is Dump. He's German, right? His mother is from the swamps, the bogs of Scotland. But for whatever reason, he thinks he gets to be the emperor of America. That's what we're dealing with. All right. Okay. Let's go do something about it. Sometimes all you have to do is show up and stuff happens. Anyway, so they said he defended the action by invoking extraterritorial jurisdiction. That's what states use. If you leave my state after committing a crime and run to another state, I can chase you down for extraterritorial jurisdiction. We're on the same continent, in the same country. Makes sense. Have you looked at a map to see? I wish I could turn it around. I have a map right here. Actually, I got a few maps to show you how far the United States is from Venezuela. It's ridiculous. And you think you're... let's see. So they argue that alleged crimes tied to narcotics trafficking and corruption give U.S. courts authority to prosecute foreign leaders. I'm wondering what the rest of the foreign countries going to think about this. Because you know how Caucasians love slippery slopes, right? You know that saying, give them an inch, they'll take your continent. Let's see. Alongside this, the United States has intercepted and taken control of vessels transporting Venezuelan oil, including a tanker flying a Russian flag. U.S. officials claim the oil cargo belonged to the United States under sanctions enforcement and forfeiture rules. Well, we told them they can't do business with nobody. So if you try to do business with them, that's our stuff. Cave beasts, they're losing it. They really are falling apart. The administration has gone further, stating it intends to oversee Venezuelan oil drilling and distribution to ensure the future business arrangements do not conflict with U.S. interests. As part of this approach, officials have publicly claimed that Venezuela will surrender up to 50 million barrels of oil. Critics argue these actions amount to piracy and economic coercion, warning that they set a dangerous precedent where military force and financial pressure are used to reshape another nation's leadership and control its resources under the banner of law enforcement. So there's that saying, doctors ruin health, teachers ruin truth, at least in the modern European version, not Western. We're Western. They call themselves Western because they're on the far west side of Asia. All right, aka Europe. That's not Europe, that's Asia. That's why they call it Western. No, we're Western. You're Eastern. All right. So the Easterners, because they're trying to switch places with us. All the corruption comes from the East. Where, what is that? Doctors ruin health, teachers ruin truth, and lawyers ruin justice. Is that not what we're seeing? They're I mean, and it's so funny because they're like the rest of the world isn't sure what to do because they've been working off the rules-based order since World War II, which ended 80 years ago, right? Who set up the rules-based order? The United States, where they said if you don't follow these written down, and this is back when they actually were a little more stringent and patriotic, even though it was patriotic to a lie, but they were like, no, we love how this country is so fair to everybody based on the horror stories our parents told us about Europe. We love how free we are. We insist that the rest of y'all follow rules the way we do because that's why we're so free. Now, what do you do when the person or the nation that put that in place starts violating it? What do you do? Right? This is going to be a mess. This is really going to be a mess. But the good news is sit back, grab a beverage and a tasty snack. Please visit us in DC. There'll be stuff coming up. Doing a fundraiser, Ice Bingo. It'll be out, right? And I think that's it, which is perfect because I've been on here almost an hour. Dang. Said I wanted to keep it short. Every time I say that, it goes long. Thank you, Moors, for joining me. I appreciate all of y'all. Please be sure to visit all my websites, califamedia.com.works, mrcicharities.org.com, riseofthemoors.org.com, and certifiedmoorish.org.com. Because I think I'm about to put up the maternity package. That's what it's called. It's the maternity package for the heirs. And I think it's just everything they need up until 18. All right. So, yeah, I think that's it. Get in touch with me, califamedia.com or at gmail.com or editor@califamedia.com, or just send me a note from wherever you're watching this. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. You said you're going to visit my works. I appreciate that. Peace and love and peace, all that. And I will see y'all later. Yeah, some people never leer. They're not going to leer that one down, for real. Right? Just because we find it funny and we love, how we love clowning folks. So it's like, yeah, that's permanent. All right, Moorish, Islam. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. And that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your... Oh, and don't forget to make your meetings. There's a meeting at Moorish Hall of Learning at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can access the Zoom link through certifiedmoorish.org/temple finder is one word. And I'm done. Peace and love. Thank you. I appreciate the support. And I'll see y'all next time. And bye-bye. Y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate